Welcome to 8 Unedited Minutes brought to you by the National Speakers Association of Illinois. In this episode, we're discussing how to differentiate yourself in the speaking world and become a category of one. My guest is Sylvie di Giusto. Sylvie brings decades of corporate expertise from Europe to every presentation. Today, as the world's first 3D immersive keynote speaker and multi-award-winning presenter, Sylvie delivers groundbreaking presentations that captivate audiences and redefine how high-performing teams maximize their human impact in client and team interactions. We dive into topics such as how to break away from the herd in the speaking world, how to stay top of mind with meeting planners, the importance of reimagining yourself, and other golden nuggets of advice. You're going to love this show. Thank you for being here for 8 Unedited Minutes, Sylvie. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
We're going to talk about standing out in the speaking world, but before we get into strategies, tips, and tactics, why is it important to you? How do you stand out? What's your story in that world?
Well, look at the United States only, and let's just take one conference hub. I think NSA did a research once how many speakers are in Nashville only, and they found in the circle around Nashville, 50 miles. I don't even remember the exact number, but it was thousands of people who consider themselves as a speaker. So a potential buyer who only would look locally in Nashville already had thousands of options. So can you imagine you are a buyer out there and you are looking for a speaker, let's say an average topic like leadership. The amount of options that you have out there are just so big in the meantime that if you don't stand out with a specific skill, with a specific method, with a specific thing that you are known for the market, so that you are the only option, the only speaker that they can hire for that specific need that they have, it is really, really difficult to have a long, sustainable business and success in this industry.
So where do you even start with standing out? Say you're a speaker, you've gotten started on some level. Where do you get started with standing out to not be just another member of the herd?
Well, first of all, you need to identify what you stand out with. I wrote a book called Discover Your Fair Advantage, where I help professionals and speakers discover their 15 unique selling points, from their unique values and beliefs to their unique skills and experiences, to their unique natural talents, but also their personal stories. We all come with different things to the plate, but isn't it always fascinating, especially as speakers, how we see unique traits in others and are very good in selling others, but usually don't take the time to identify our unique traits that we bring to the table and sell them to others. So it's a long and difficult process of self-awareness, but then also self-promotion and having the guts to bring them out there and tell them in a way that is unique and creative, because if you don't tell them, how would they know?
What are some examples of unique traits of speakers that they could adopt?
Well, it can go in different directions. In my case, for example, one of my unique traits that I always thought is something that is holding me back is my accent. And I had to learn that it's actually a superpower. I was invited to a TV show years ago, and when I watched the TV show in the evening on a regular basis, I found myself in between political experts on a weekly basis, and they all had super perfect, sophisticated English. Their words were yummy and so distinguished. And then in the middle of that, I was saying something, oh my God, and I hated it. It made me so insecure. I didn't even publish the episodes or snippets on it on my website or somewhere on social media because it made me so insecure. And one day in the evening at a holiday party, I shared my insecurities with the producer of that show. And he looked at me and said, oh, that's why we invite you. Because you sound like an international expert and you say things so simple that everybody at home understands you, why they don't understand the political experts. So something that I actually thought is one of my biggest insecurities is my biggest superpower. And in the meantime, I realized that in 9 out of 10 cases, I get hired for international conferences, international audiences, and not the cookie cutter, typical American audience, for example. Or you create something that stands out, like I am the world's first 3D immersive holographic keynote speaker.
Mm.
And that is not something, yes, that comes overnight, that you just wake up. This, for example, has been a long process I have been working myself on 4 years because I, for myself, in general, have a tendency when the entire industry looks to the right,
Mhm.
I look to the left because you are all going there and I want to stand out. I'm not going with you. I'm going to go to the left and look what's over there that you don't see.
So besides unique traits, what are the other ways to stand out in the speaking world?
Well, you can stand out with small things like I just said. I know that many speakers, for example, have their introductions. I don't have an introduction because I believe nobody is really interested in listening 3 minutes to all your achievements. Your achievements have to be shown on stage, and if nobody is so impressed by you that they go on Amazon later and buy two of your 13 best-selling books, why tell them beforehand? You send gifts afterwards to your clients. I send them before to my clients. So they already have them when I come there. Um, what else? I do, as I said, if you want to stand out, you have to do things differently. Every single tip that we usually share on conferences or in conferences or in breaking rooms. Yes, I take some with me and I do the same. But most tips I take with me and I think, you're all taking this advice. So what can I do
Mhm.
differently? Because I know you are all running this way and I want to stand out. I'm going to do it differently.
Well, once you find a way to stand out, how do you keep standing out? Do you have to update your material? Do you go through brand overhauls? How do you stay standing out
Constantly.
once you get there?
Yes, it's a constant process. I cannot tell you how many hours I work here in this office to constantly find new ways, new things to stand out. Once again, when I go back to my holographic experience, people are so excited that I worked on this for 4 years and it was a hard process. And now I launched it, and during the last year, we performed it several times. And I know that I can write this 3D holographic experience for 2, 3 years.
Mhm.
But the reality is, I'm already now working on the next big thing. Because if the last big thing took me 4 years, can you imagine how long it's
Mhm.
going to take me for the next big thing? What's next? So it's a constant process of reimagining what you can do next. And it starts again with the small things that you can do and the big things that you have to innovate every single day.
We have covered a lot of ground in a very short period of time. If some people watching or listening are thinking this sounds great, if there was one thing to tell them, if you do nothing else, at least do this one thing to stand out, at least this, what would you tell them to do?
Stop comparing yourself with other speakers. Unfollow every single speaker on social media. And I'm saying this with all the respect to my friends. I follow some of my friends because I want to know what happens in their personal life. Follow people outside of the industry. I find all my inspiration how to stand out, not from my speaker colleagues, because then I'm doing the same like you all do. I find all my inspiration outside of our industry.
Thank you for the time. And if people want to find you online, what's the best place or places to go?
At sylviedigiusto.com or everywhere on social media. If you don't find me via my name on social media, chances are high you don't have internet access.
I will put your name in the show notes. Thank you again. I appreciate the time, Sylvie.